Hey, Nerfers, I'm Addy Thomas.
I am Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View News and Reviews. This one, I know there has been times where I said we have a short episode and then we had an hour and a half episode.
Man, no way.
No, this is going to be a short episode. So let's, before we get into the news, don't forget you can go to our website, certainpov.com. All of our podcasts are there. All of our social media presence is there. Patreon, everything that you probably want to check out is there, certainpov.com. All right, let's get to the news stories. We only got 3.
Yay!
So there's a new Song of Fire and Ice book actually coming out this year. However, it is not what people were expecting. It is not Winds of Winter.
Oh, for crying out loud.
George R.R. Martin revealed on his LiveJournal, and I think he's the only person who's still using LiveJournal, that the next book in
Wait, what's LiveJournal?
It's one of those like Zanga, like one of those like like those blog websites where that you can journal on. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I had one of those for like 6 minutes.
Yeah, same here. I had MySpace longer. Although I did trick out my MySpace a little bit.
I bet you did.
I spent time and crafted mine. Anyway.
This is my favorite song.
Right? This really represents me. Back to George R.R. Martin, because he's also being sidetracked like that. George R.R. Martin revealed on his LiveJournal that the next book in a Song of Fire and Ice franchise will be the first half of Fire and Blood, a companion book Martin teased back in July of last year. According to Martin, Fire and Blood will be a compilation of his fake histories of the Targaryen kings, with the first volume covering the history of Westeros from Aegon's conquest all the way through Aegon III. Most of it will consist of sidebars Martin wrote in The World of Fire and Ice, of Ice and Fire, along with new chapters and expanded notes. In a series of comments on his post, which talked about this year's Hugo Awards, Martin said, Fire and Blood's first volume is nearly finished and has a planned 2018 release date. Unfortunately, this means, of course, the next official book, The Winds of Winter, is still nowhere to be found. So...
When you just don't know how to wrap a thing up.
Right?
Milk it.
Yeah, I think he wants to pass before he gets this series finished out.
I think so. I think that he figures that it'll like help him go down as like one of the truly great science fiction writers if it's left unfinished. And because he's probably afraid he's going to have like the Lost syndrome.
Right? Which was always my fear.
Sucks.
Which was always my fear in getting involved in the series. And damn it, people, they sucked me into this series. If this ends up going all lost on it,
it's hard as hell because now we're off the roadmap, right?
Yeah.
So like if the TV ends lost, like you can be like, well,
it's not George R. R. Martin's
how he's,
vision.
Yeah. Like they kind of made it up, blah 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 blah. And he can die and be like, I know what I was going to write was going to be way better than that. That's what I would do. That's the lazy man's way of wrapping up an epic saga. I like it.
So moving on, we've got 2 stories in the gaming world. Back in 2013, that's when EA actually received the license to make Star Wars games. A decision that Disney seemed confident with, considering the massive successes under the company's list. However, the backlash against the resulting and some of the titles that haven't come to fruition have reportedly left Disney with no small amount of buyer's remorse, and it may conclude in them removing the Star Wars license from EA. There's rumors that they've met with EA's higher-ups to discuss the state of their Star Wars video games. They've also reached out to rival publishers Activision and Ubisoft to see if other game companies would be interested in the Star Wars license. But there's also supposedly like a licensing deal between Disney and EA that could allow for Disney to back out if certain standards aren't met. So this is what are your kind of thoughts right now with the whole state of affairs with EA and Star Wars video games? I
mean, they've put out a lot of really good ones, right? Haven't they? No.
Really, honestly, the only good one I'd say is the cell phone game I've been playing. From
well, what
EA.
did the other
2 Battlefronts are the only other ones that have come out, and those have.
And who makes SWTOR?
Now that is BioWare. But that's also before the
deal.
Oh,
okay. So we're really just talking about Battlefront.
Yeah.
The Battlefront games.
Yeah. But there have been other big titles that have been canceled. There was that one with
1013 or whatever.
Well, that was
a Lucas.
No, it was the one that I forget her name, but she's the game developer for Uncharted, and there was a big deal about like this mystery project, and she was really story driven experience. And then there was the big like drama of like, and
it just
now
disappeared.
It just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's been a lot of drama.
Are you going to get anything better from Activision or Ubisoft?
EA has a particularly bad rep. Yes, there is still risks with the other companies, but EA for a while has had a lot more misses than hits lately. Not necessarily now that's more in the PR side of it.
Who owns Blizzard?
Activision.
Activision does.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd lobby for Activision.
I would put Activision in and restart Lucas.
Personally, I would lobby for Bethesda Games.
Just so you can get a job close.
Yes, exactly.
That's why. That's why.
That's the main reason. But they also are a little bit more of a smaller studio but they still have the ability to, throw out like a AAA title. So they might have a little bit different of an approach as opposed to some of these big, like Activision.
But I feel like you need to have those resources to do something with a Star Wars title.
Yeah, absolutely. But remember,
you need like a massive server.
But Bethesda can handle. Bethesda has that, but they have a little bit more of that mentality of a smaller gaming company. Like the way they approach games like Skyrim and everything. There's a lot more care and maintenance that's given to a lot of their games, even after release. Where you don't quite see that. You see and yes, it's not like they're immune from like microtransactions or anything like that.
Nobody is at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing that.
Yeah. Which actually leads into our next story because it's about microtransactions. Obviously, that was a big topic in the world of gaming last year. And, obviously EA didn't come out on the positive end of that last year. But where the company that has come out big in microtransactions is Activision Blizzard. Apparently, during 2017, they've reported $4 billion in microtransactions. Now, half of it has come from their buyout of the King development company, which is the mobile development company that owns Candy Crush. So that's
they got $2 billion from
$2 billion
Candy Crush.
just from Candy Crush. But that does also include Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch. And there's been a lot of praise for like the Overwatch, which also applies to Heroes of the Storm because they both have a similar models and for that matter, WoW as well, and I believe Call of Duty. So all of those games don't have they're all their microtransactions are vanity items.
Yeah,
nothing which you can still grind and get in game.
Right.
You don't have to buy them. You could save up enough gold and get those most of those items. But there's nothing that actually enables you to have a better gun or
it doesn't affect gameplay. Yeah.
Exactly. So Activision Blizzard's doing a pretty.
That's where I'd like to see Star Wars go.
Yeah,
is in that house somewhere.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't see Blizzard taking it, but Activision for sure.
Yeah,
and setting up a separate studio that just handles Star Wars titles underneath the Activision umbrella.
Right. Would you like Old Republic to kind of come under Activision and maybe get consulting from some of the Blizzard guys?
I feel like at this point, it's declined enough that you could shut it down and start
a new game.
Start a new MMO.
So what would you do as far as starting a new MMO? What would you do with Star Wars?
That's a good question. Do you
even start a new MMO for Star Wars?
Yeah, I feel like you could. Yeah. MMOs have clearly declined in popularity over the years since their heyday. Like when SWTOR hit, it was really at its heyday.
Yeah,
and it was downhill from there quick. Yeah. But I feel like if you put out a good title and a good experience, that there's room for it. I don't know. You'd have to pick a time. Everybody wants to play Jedis, but I feel like it would be cool if it was less Jedi and Sith oriented.
Back to sort of what Galaxies was.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit more current Star Wars timeline.
Yeah. Not everybody's a Jedi and not everybody's a Sith and not everybody's... Because that was the one thing that was kind of annoying about SWTOR. Yeah. Is you have a laser sword, but you have to hit somebody 7 times to kill them.
Yes. That's right. It was always a little weird. It was like, man, they have great armor. Why did they not still have this armor by the time we got to Star Wars?
It doesn't make sense. Why doesn't he he should not have hands. Why does he still have hands?
Right.
You'd beat the bad guy and he'd just like get down on a knee and be like, oh, you fought really well.
And then like die like 30 seconds later.
You're like, dude, I just like beat you over the head with a lightsaber for like 10 minutes straight.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So like to me, like that always kind of pulled you out of the game a little bit is the combat mechanics. It sounded great. It looked cool, but it was weird that nobody died right away from wounds.
So let's take it out of the MMO discussion for a bit. How do you do a Star Wars game? Because there've been a lot of great Star Wars games, but there's not really been a great Jedi fighting experience. The best I feel I've had, and now granted I haven't played the new Jedi Challenges game.
Right. I almost bought the other day at Best Buy. There was an open box special.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, it's still too much for me.
Yeah, I know. I was just like,
what if this sucks? It's like $200 of what if it sucks?
I know. I'm so close to getting it, but I want to get a car stereo instead. I'm like, I'm going to use the car stereo more.
You don't know that's true.
No, that's true. I'll be one of my VR headset in the basement just swinging around. The people upstairs are like, what is
this guy doing?
On?
I would
Wheels of delight and anguish.
Which is, a typical Saturday night.
But do you think that's really possible in a game to really kind of replicate like the fast action pace of a lightsaber duel? How do you do that in the game?
Like I thought they did a really good job of it looking like you were fighting with a lightsaber. Like they even had mechanics like built into the game with SWTOR where like you would clash lightsabers and moves and stuff like that, like when you were fighting other Force users, right? And like it looked really good. The problem was like the damage didn't make sense for the weapon.
Right. Because you hit a robot, like that thing should go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you hit a person, like, you jump up in the air and you just wail on him with your sword. Like, yeah, you should, he should be dead. I don't know. I mean, because you still have to keep it like gamey. Because if you make it realistic, right? If you make Jedis and Sith realistic with a lightsaber, like it's one shot. Everybody's just getting one shot, and everybody's like, well, I guess I gotta play a Jedi or a Sith because nobody else can compete. Yeah. Which has always been kind of the feeling about the Jedi and the Sith too. Yeah. Like, so it would be kind of more realistic. Game balance problems. It's a nightmare. Yeah. It is a nightmare to make a Star Wars game that have Jedi and Sith in them and other classes or characters to compete with that power level. Yeah. It's the same reason why when Case set the ground rules for the role-playing game, the Scruffy Nerf Herders, he was like, no Jedi. Yeah. There can't be any Jedi. Yeah. Yeah, because it does complicate them. I mean, like, you're just a Force adept, and you're so much more powerful than the rest of us.
Yes, I am.
So much more powerful.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's funny because I didn't want to play a Jedi. Yeah. But I got the rolls to end up getting like a high wisdom. Like, and I was like, well, that's the only thing that really benefits from this. Like I wouldn't even.
That's why, yeah. See,
I wouldn't be a good text, but I wanted to be like a hacker or something, and I was like, well, can't do that now. I don't have a high enough intelligence.
Could have. You just wouldn't have been a good one.
Yeah, right. I should have been a soldier. Yeah. But like I have like.
But like really wise. You'd be like, before you go into battle, you're just saying like really smart things.
And talking about how I'm gonna retire. I could have just done that and then like kill off my character and re-roll the new one.
And that's what real good role players do. Actually, real good role players, like more experienced role players, like will just be like, I don't give a fuck what the roles are. Like this is what I want to be. Like just like people do in real life. Yeah. Like when we tell kids like, oh, you can be anything you want to be. It's the biggest load of shit ever. Like you can be, but you're just not gonna be good at it or make any money. Like, that's fine, but you're not going to survive. Yeah. Like, you're going to end up waiting tables. Like, acknowledge it and move on.
On that down note, be sure to listen to the Scruffy Nerf Herders and check out our role-playing experience.
Where I give more life advice.
Thank God you don't have that high of a wisdom score. Right. So let's move on. We're done with news. We had a new trailer, and this trailer is probably going to result in a huge rant from Ben. We got the Incredibles 2 trailer.
Oh, God damn it. Here's the problem that I have with this this trailer and the
man.
premise of this movie. Old man rant here coming, okay? Like, I don't like the stereotype of the incompetent male father who can't handle raising kids.
Yeah.
You know, and he's always married to like some super competent woman who, you know, is so proficient in everything she does, and she makes everything look so easy, and all he has to do is stay home and take care of the kids for a day, and everything falls apart. Like, that is such a stupid stereotype and so annoying to me as a father who does do that. Like, and yeah, it's difficult, but I'm not any less capable of doing it than any other woman. So my problem with it is is not that it's a stereotype. It's that, like, there should be outrage from certain sectors and wings of the political establishment who is always so woke about shit. But when this topic comes up, and it comes up every fucking year, there's some movie or some story that, you know, has this representation in it, and there's just crickets. There's dead silence.
Like, you can apply the same thing to like Italian and Irish stereotypes as well. Like, there's not
but I feel like we've gotten past. Like, we've seen other Irish and we've seen other stereotypes get their due. Like, oh, they're more than just mobsters. They're more than just, you know, hitmen or whatever.
So here's what's funny. I didn't get that at all from this trailer.
I know. That's because you're not a dad.
Well, no, because I didn't like. I got he was an exhausted dad, but a competent dad. I didn't get that he was incompetent.
Oh, and he's chasing Jack around.
I thought he was super competent, but just not satisfied that he wanted to be the hero.
Oh, well, there is that too. Like, there is that element of it. But
I didn't totally take away like, oh yeah. Like,
I hate that story.
Yeah.
I hate that story. That being said, I'm so into see this movie. I cannot wait to see this movie.
This is one of my absolutely highly anticipated movies.
Here's my fear,
That's
though.
not in May.
I really suspect this is going to be a Monsters University situation.
You think
where
so?
we're like, oh, we did not need to come back here.
It's entirely possible. It may just be that. Well, here's what I do like from this trailer, though, that they didn't decide to respond to sort of like the bigger things that are happening in superhero movies. That, like, it doesn't feel like this is trying to be a parody or comment on superhero movies. That this is continuing to be a family drama and focus on the characters that they established in the first movie. Now, whether that's to its detriment or
right, no,
benefit,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do like that they maintain sort of that consistency within the storytelling.
It's the best Fantastic Four series we've ever had.
Absolutely. So, but I am looking forward to seeing those characters again. I like the cast that they've got assembled for it, like some of the newcomers to the cast. So, yeah, we'll see. Is it going to be better than the first? I think that is almost impossible to do at this point. Because not just because the quality of the first movie, but the quality of that movie has been so, in some ways, like, has grown as time has gone.
Right.
You know, so maybe bigger than it really should be.
I don't know. That first one's really good.
It is. It's one of my one of my top 10 movies. It's my favorite Pixar movie. Here's another positive, though, that I'm looking forward to. I really like Brad Bird as director. Mm-hmm. And I like sort of his commentary on, like, the sort of the messages of his movies. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily, like, it's not like he goes out to offend people, but he's also not politically correct. He understands how to handle a lot of those things, I think, fairly well. Maybe I'm blind to places.
You're not woke enough,
people.
Dude.
Yeah, maybe
I'm just not woke enough.
Maybe I'm just not woke. But here's one thing I do like, because I actually really liked Tomorrowland. I was a little bummed that it didn't get, you know, as wide, you know, acceptance across the board. But I thought there were, like, really interesting messages. I love the whole idea of, like, the everyone gets a trophy type of mentality and the problems with that in the first movie. So he has a really sort of interesting, like, thought process, and I'm interested to see what he has in store for this movie. Because that's been, I know, one of the things, like, why he's taken so long to write this particular movie and the process that they've gone into it. So, like, yes, it's been a long time, so, you know, maybe it'll be like Monsters University, where it just doesn't quite live up to the first one. But because he's coming from a certain perspective of the message of his movie and sort of what's the core of these characters and who they are as a family, I have a little bit more confidence in this movie, despite some of the concerns that you have that are
Well,
Semi-rational.
And I'm super hoping that this movie is great.
Yeah.
I really am. And I'm not really offended by the trailer.
You're offended by the lack of response.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on to Black Lightning.
Black Lightning.
We got a new episode. What'd you think?
Honestly, I kind of lost a little interest with this episode.
Yep.
I don't know why. Like, it seemed like it should have been a really good episode. But like as I was watching it, I was just kind of like, this is another CW show to me.
Well,
episode.
I'm continuing. Well, I don't know if I go with another CW show because I just still don't feel it's got that quality of.
Well, there's
CW
not
shows.
enough love triangles,
right?
In order for it to be another CW show.
There's time. No, but I think the part that I'm most interested in is the dynamic for. Is it Henry, the tailor?
Yes.
And sort of like where he fits into this overall picture with Tobias, the Black Lightning, and like this is getting really hazy and really like it's starting to make him not look particularly bad. Yeah. So I am
mildly I am still interested in this, but this episode didn't
this was
do
a little
a lot.
There was a lot of build up in this episode.
Yeah, it didn't do a lot for
action.
me to go like, wow, that was an amazing episode. It was a good episode, but I wasn't blown away by it.
Yeah, and I'd agree with you. This one was kind of getting like geared up again to set up for future conflicts. So, but from that perspective, I will say Tobias had a really cool. I thought the moment with him and his dad, like those were sort of interesting moments. It was times to.
Were you projecting a little, Addy?
No, oh God, no, not this one.
I want to get him. Just curse my dad's back.
I was like, oh, like that was like an oh damn, like he like. Because it felt like they were softening him up, and then they like totally.
Oh, I saw it coming a mile away.
I guess it is predictable.
I totally saw it coming a mile away. Like, he is not. Like, when he brought him in for the hug.
Yeah. Okay. Like, when he brought him in for the hug, you knew what was going to happen, but it still served the function of making him a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass. And that actor is
good.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's got a great mean mug.
He does. He does. He is scary. I can't imagine just hanging out with that guy.
No, he does not look fun at all. Like, that guy just doesn't have fun.
You can't look like that.
You can't look like that and have fun. Like,
I've imagined like that guy like just like walking around like a polo and khakis and like just a dad.
Hey, you want to play some Call of Duty?
Yeah, right.
What, in real life? No.
All right, so Legends Tomorrow is back.
Yes!
And we had Constantine for this episode, too. Matt Ryan's Constantine.
Constantine's a badass.
He is. And he's totally fits in the world of Legends of Tomorrow. They just need to have,
just put him on that ship and let him go.
Really, they really should. And, of course, he brings the chaos that he normally does.
Yeah.
And he brought a little extra with him too.
Yeah, he did.
In this episode.
Town got a little Sarah
Flirting with everybody.
Yeah, that's true. He's flirting with Captain Cold.
Yeah.
What? I was disappointed to see go.
Well, I already heard that the actor had already kind of made his exit from the CW universe. Although I wouldn't be surprised. Like, apparently this isn't the first time.
Yeah, because he went back and did Prison Break.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
about
when they
that.
did the new season of Prison Break, that's why he left, and then like that wrapped up, and he's like, "And I'm gay and back."
So I thought that was fun. I mean, I love anything with Sarah, so
Damien Dark, man, they
such a good villain for the series.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is. He's fun. The daughter aspect of it was really fun and interesting, and added a nice twist to it.
And Mick is the captain.
Mick is a great captain. Mick is a perfect captain. I kind of want him to be the captain all the time, just yelling at people, like, "You go do this, you go do that, you go do that, you go do that." I'm watching football. Like,
threatening people if they told them what the score was ended up because they were obviously out of the time stream.
I think he'd make a great captain.
It just reminds me how much fun this show is. Like, I don't know if I even need the rest of the CW universe. Just keep Legends.
Legends is fantastic. Yeah, that could keep going forever.
So we haven't recorded in time to watch the 2 episodes for Star Wars Rebels. So we're going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to go to our website, certainpov.com. We promise we keep it short. We actually kept this under 30 minutes.
Well, hey, that's pretty good for us.
Right? Because last time I said that, we ended
hour
up
and
with
a half
an hour and a half.
We are going to go see Black Panther tonight, so
Yeah.
we're pretty psyched about that.
Exactly. And of course, we'll bring that review to you guys soon. It'll be chock full of spoilers, so make sure you see it before you listen to our review. You can check that out if you want to be sure, to find out where all of our podcasts are and stash them away for you in time to watch later. You can go to our website, certainpov.com. You can subscribe, rate and review them if you wouldn't mind as well. We could really use the little boost. It helps people discover the podcast. You can go to our website again, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my nerf herders.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.